Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drewling Samantics.
The look of concentration on your face as you pour that beer, mate, very well done. I mean, I don't think we could see the logo. We could see the colour of the can. It might have given it away a little bit, but...
Well, yeah, maybe a tad, mate, but...
Can I just say something? You're not usually a can man.
I'm a can or a can man?
A can or a can
can? Usually a can man. No, you're very right. Just for reference, yes, some people watching may have guessed what flavour this lager happens to be, but as they haven't offered to sponsor us yet, we're not going to mention them. So many different brands of beer, lager, whatever are available. But yes, no, going back to what you said, no, I'm not the biggest fan of cans. I'd much rather drink out of a glass bottle, or out of a glass. And it's weird because I think even if it starts in a can and then you pour it into a glass, I think it tastes different. So, I mean, a draft from a bar or from a proper keg, it's incomparable as far as I'm concerned. It always tastes the best.
Right.
The minute it goes into a glass, I think maybe it's a slight tinge of tasting the metal or something. I don't know. We are talking rubbish and you're just looking at me blankly now.
Listeners, viewers, welcome to Drewling Samantics Does Beer. Actually, we've been doing beer for years. That's beside the point. But
I bet you're not doing beer though.
No, mate. I'm on the coffee.
We're going to keep getting comments, mate. People saying, "Well, Drew hasn't had a beer for a long time. Has he gone teetotal?" Or maybe there's something in the coffee, dear listeners and viewers. We don't know. He won't admit to it. But
it's only sugar, mate. It's black coffee, couple of sugars. That's all it is. That's I've got to keep sharp, Sam. I've got to keep sharp.
Anyway, professional and all that. Cheers. Good to see you.
Yeah, cheers.
How have you been?
I mean, I've got to keep sharp because it's just not you and me this morning, is it, mate? It is.
Well, yes, we do. We do have a lovely guest. Been looking forward to it. So, this is sort of I was going to say climax to the week. We've probably done that gag before or mentioned that before, but it's like ending on a high is what I was trying to go for.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's a good one.
And I've managed to do some great stuff this week. So I did a wedding-y photo shooty thing earlier in the week, and then I was lucky enough to go and see Call Me John. Alan from Reflex Theatre, his production, which I promoted last week. So anyone that heard us and then decided to get tickets, you'll be able to agree with me that you will not have regretted it. It was an incredible piece of theatre. So pleased I got to see it. And now, topping it off with a lovely guest. And I'm assuming it's a fantastic end to a good week for you as well, mate.
Yeah, well, it's, you talk about a wedding shoot. I actually was celebrating my wedding anniversary this week. So that mixed a little bit of business with pleasure. Verona and I went off and we had a couple of days of chilling out. And also we did a Fawlty Towers gig up in a very, very favourite hotel of ours. So I've been, bit of work, bit of pleasure.
You've put me in a difficult position there because normally when you talk about something that's been happening for a while or something like an anniversary, I take the piss out of how old you are. But I wouldn't dream of doing that to Verona. So I can't say that you've been married for 80 years like I was planning on, or congratulations on your double diamond jubilee or whatever I was going to say, because that would insult Verona and I wouldn't do that. So
what a gentleman you are. What a gentleman you are.
Yeah.
And I have to...
Go on.
You're going to do it, aren't you? Go on. You can do it. You can do it. You do the segue.
And speaking of gentlemen, is that what you were going to do? Yes, we're so in tune.
Oh, brilliant. Go on then. All yours, Sam. You love a segue. Do it for us.
Speaking of gentlemen, we are being joined in the next few seconds, I guess, by a rather wonderful gentleman, a man I've known for a fair while and had the pleasure of working with. He's just a multi-talented, very experienced and very knowledgeable performer. And there are other, I'm not going to go into it because we'll talk to him about it, but other elements to what he does as well. But highly trained, highly skilled, and highly difficult to book in. We've been trying for a long time.
We have, but
yes.
I have a feeling, Sam, that this is going to be well worth the wait. I think we're going to have a lovely treat. And of course, actually don't have to wait any longer because he's here. Yeah. I suggest we open the doors and let him in.
Here he comes now. And there he is. Finally, after weeks and months of trying, we finally nailed him down. Mr. Michael Hoad is joining Drewling Samantics. Hello, mate. How are you? It's brilliant to see you.
I'm great. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man. It's my honor. Thank you so much.
No. The pleasure is all ours. Mike, meet Drew. Drew, meet Mike. Both old friends of mine. One is just old, whereas the other, it's been a friend for... No, I'm joking. No, genuinely... we sort of alluded to this last week, and I've just said it there. It's taken so long to get you on, Michael, and it's so great that we finally got it, because I mean our audience don't know how lucky they are that you're here to chat to us, because you've got some fascinating stuff and some amazing things to talk about.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Sorry it's taking so long. I've just been so busy with so many different projects and stuff. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to chat with you guys.
Well, I mean, that's it, Michael. There's no better reason for not being able to make something than busy, particularly in this business, as we all know how tough it is. And I mean, the great thing about, I mean, we do our research, and I have been doing my research. And I mean, it is, I mean, the first time that we've met, as it is, often on the show. So for our listeners, for me, I mean, I've done my research, but I've flesh it out for us. Just give us a little introduction to Michael Hoad and why he is so damn busy.
So I'm an actor and director. I mainly focus on action and action directing, as well as acting. I've done martial arts for 25 years now, and I really combine the two of performing and martial arts and filmmaking. I studied filmmaking at London Film School. And they're the two things that I love most in life, is cinema and martial arts. So I try and spend as much time as possible either making films or doing martial arts.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Could be better.
I can speak from experience to say just how passionate you are about your two main outlets in life. Yes. I mean, we met years ago on a film set doing a bit of extra work, actually doing some supporting work, but that blossomed into all sorts of different things. We did some training together towards a stunt register. We've associated on other projects and things, and we even spent an evening amongst a group of friends with you in a fantastic white linen suit in Shoreditch, having a few beers, which I know is not your normal style, because you are the healthiest man I know, and to allow yourself to have a beer now and then, it's a rarity for you.
Yeah, not that night, mate. That was that was a heavy one, but a good time. That was a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So you started out mainly doing sort of the martial arts side, and then in fitness, and you also did fitness training, personal training. What was it initially that made you want to sort of bring film in, or was it always the plan, that was always a passion that you had that you wanted to pursue as well?
You know what? It was actually, I met a mentor of mine called Dr. John DeMartini. He was in a movie called The Secret. I don't know, that movie gets a lot of hate, but it's like the law of attraction type stuff. And I met John on one of he did a talk actually in the Bloomsbury Hotel. And my friend gave me a ticket and said, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm not going to buy the upsell, but I'll go and see the guy talk." And I went to see him talk. And John is like a real polymath. Like, he's an incredible human being. He's so knowledgeable about so many different things. And it was kind of like a personal development talk. And then I was like, at that time I was 32, and I was kind of like, I could have done more stuff in film. I could have, if I changed my career, I would have done work in film. But I was like, I'm 32 now, so it's probably not going to work out. But then I saw John talk, like Dr. John DeMartini talk, and he inspired me so much. I was like, wow, I'm going to go and do his course, which is a weekend course called the Breakthrough Experience. And after I did that course, basically my whole paradigm for life completely shifted. And I realized, like, it's never too late to go after what it is that you want in life. And I just started from there, really. And yeah, that changed everything for me. So after I did this course, the Breakthrough Experience with John, and he's still a mentor of mine now. I regularly speak to him. Then I just went full force in the film industry, just everything, every day working towards the goals, man. So that's what I'm doing. And I started my own production company, which is Lost Boys Films, where we do a lot of action stuff. We do a lot of martial arts stuff. And yeah, just been working at it every day since then. And people always say to me, like, why you're obsessed with this? And I am, yeah, that's all I want to do. So it can cause a lot of problems in your personal life, but that's all I want to do, man. So I'm not bothered.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because as soon as you make that decision, and I made the decision very young that's what I wanted to do, because I knew I was good at it, and I wasn't particularly brilliant at anything else, but I knew I could do this, and it was my passion, and from a young age, it's all I wanted to do. I worked at it; it became my discipline. I read everything I could. I went away and got trained, and I did all the other stuff surrounding it, to learn different skills. And it's like Sam said, there's you are incredibly disciplined. I mean, you have to be.
Yeah.
To be, to keep as in the world of martial arts, we spoke to several people that have worked martial arts and stunt work. The discipline, just to be, quite apart from anything else, to look as good as you look, to pull the stuff off. I mean, I've seen your show reels, and it's like, yeah, okay, that guy works out, that guy knows what his shit, and you have to, and it's very simple for people to look at it and go, yeah, okay. But they don't appreciate that. I mean, and we're not going to dwell long on the physical training and all the rest of it. But I mean, did you ever compete at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I competed in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and also Japanese jiu-jitsu. So various different disciplines. But yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So that gives you an edge to win as well, doesn't it? The competitive edge that's sharpened everything. That's where you stand.
It also helps you as a performer, because like as you know from acting, it's like you've learnt your lines, it's on the day, things change and you have to adapt, and that's the same as fighting, really. You just have to, things will change. You might have a niggling injury or something, but you just deal with it and you just pull the trigger. And that's the same with acting, man. It's like, or dancers or any kind of performing artist, is like when the pressure's on, like what do you do? And you just kind of get into this. I mean, me personally, I just get into this kind of flow state and just get very, very present in the moment. And it's the waiting around before that's the hard part for me. Like, I hate that part. But once you're in, once you're going, once you're moving, then it's awesome. So yeah, absolutely. There is synergies between the two.
It's all about molding and adapting to what's surrounding you. I mean, very much so. On the martial arts and the competitive level, that's instant decision based on what's happening opposite to you or to you. Whereas with film, as you say, there may be changes on a day. There may be certain external factors that hadn't either been planned for or hadn't been foreseen that you then have to work around. And it is a constantly changing beast. It's never sort of a straightforward platform. But I guess in a way, it's another reason why people like us get into what we do, because that variety, that unpredictability, it gives you that thrill.
Yeah, every project's different. Every production company you work with is different. Like, there's always going to be different challenges on each set, and but that keeps you on your toes, man. That keeps you, like you say, it's not boring, and it's not the same thing again and again. So obviously there's similarities between projects, and I take, every time I do a project, I always write down the things. It's like a discipline thing. Is like, I'll write down the things I did well, the things I could have done better, and like the kind of learning experiences from each one. And then when I move into another production, I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. So you have that foresight. You have that. It's like chess. You can see the moves before they're played. And you're like, okay, I see what's going to happen now. Especially when you're producing stuff, you can see, okay, if this isn't done here, then that's going to happen there, and you can start to see ahead of time. So every production you do, every performance you do, hopefully, if you're paying attention, you will learn and grow and move on to the next one.
Yeah, it's very easy, isn't it? Because I know as a performer, I've got habits. I know they work, little tricks and that, but
Yeah.
you can do them for so long. It's like I'm being unproductive and uncreative because I'm just relying on those little tricks that get me through a performance. And like you say, if you note those and are honest with yourself, I think that's one of the disciplines that is very important. And like you say, writing it down, keeping a journal of where you've been, that journey through a production, or being honest with yourself. Like, it's like I make notes on scripts. It's that thing of going back and going, okay, let's not do that. Let's push ourselves a little bit further. As you say, let's be present and on it in each production. I think then you progress and you learn. But I think it's that discipline of being really honest with yourself that a lot of younger performers, or people that are younger performers, that are young to the business, whatever age one enters it, your experience is that honesty and that discipline, and can never ever be be underestimated. And particularly when you're putting yourself on the screen in that position. But like yourself, you've got to work with a very strict, very potentially very dangerous discipline. Like, when you're fighting and you're in those action situations, you've got to look after yourself, because not only are you looking after yourself at that moment in time and the other performer, but it's also future work. You drop an injury, you can lose months of work.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I say to like young filmmakers and young performers. You should ask for feedback, like positive or negative. Ask for feedback from the director, from the stunt coordinator, from the whoever's managing you. Ask for feedback. If they give you no feedback, that's not good. If you get some negative feedback, just use it. It's fine. It's fine. And then you learn from that situation. Just don't take it personally. Too many people take it personally. Don't take it personally. That's really an opportunity.
Yeah. Criticism is often better than praise, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how then? So we've talked about sort of developing from being a competitive martial artist and fitness performer and trainer and instructor, then going into the acting world. But equally, you've mentioned about directing and producing. So you've got Lost Boys films where you take on many different roles, be that as one of the stars, or be that sat in the director's chair, or whatever. How do you blend those different roles together? And do you tend to take a certain direction, or does it entirely depend on what's in front of you?
I mean, that's just kind of my personality. I'm not one of these people that just will stick to one discipline, because I've often been told that, like, why don't you just do one thing? But that's not my personality. I like to know everything. Like, coming back to my mentor, John, he told me, like, master the game of filmmaking. He set out to master the game of filmmaking. And that means you understand every job. That doesn't mean you have to do every job, but you need to understand every job. So you understand the gaffer's job. Are they lighting it well? Are they doing it efficiently? Are they doing it fast enough? If you know every single job, and you know what is what equates to them doing a good job, then when you're producing or you're directing, you can overlook the whole thing and say, okay, yeah, I know where the inefficiencies are, or I know when someone's doing a great job. So it's really just, one, it's my personality to like to know everything. So that's why I like doing all these different jobs. And two, I think that just makes you a better filmmaker on the whole. And I actually see acting as just part of filmmaking. It's only one of the things that I do. And some people might criticize you and say, like, oh, then you're a jack of all trades. But I don't listen to those guys.
Go on, Drew. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say. I mean, there's no. I mean, why not do everything? Why not have a go at everything? I mean, it's as you say, life's. Someone said to me, life's too short to eat small pizzas. Have a slice of everything. And try everything. I mean, it can only, if you then decide, well, I am only good at those two things. Yeah. At least then you know what you can concentrate on, and knowing a little bit of everything else. I mean, I always think it's, when I'm on a set, I used to find being on a film set fascinating but frightening. But when I learnt the jobs, when I knew how to address someone, when I knew how to look at the DOP and go, what is this, mid shot, close up? How much can I move? Do you need me there? Do you need me there? Sorry, is that, am I? Then people like you, they understand you, and you get more. They go, you know, I did a little, I was doing a little bit of filming a little while ago, and I was chatting to the DOP, and the next thing, the DOP just leans in and goes, "Turn a little bit to your left. I've got a fantastic close up here."
Yeah.
And then they would go, "I'm going to do another one of those. I'm going to do," and I was saying, "This is great." And it wasn't in the script. It wasn't anything else. It was just that little bit between the DOP, because we chatted, we appreciated, and in this instance, you know, she knew what she was up to, and I think, you know, that different slices of the pizza all put together, as you say, makes you a complete, you know,
absolutely, man. And if you help them do their job well, they're gonna and make them look good, then they're gonna make you look good. And they're going to appreciate that because, like, you know, as you just said there, it's so smart. Like, as an actor, you're like, where's my edge of frame?
Yeah.
What shot are you on now? And then automatically they'll be like, okay, this guy, he's experienced. One, and two, he's trying to help me out and make me look good and make this whole film look good. And if you go there with the attitude of like, how am I going to serve this film or TV show or theater production, you're going to last long in this industry, man. You really are. Because they're going to appreciate that, and that energy is going to like radiate throughout the whole production. And we've all been on productions where you see somebody's like quite selfish, or that something's going on at home or whatever, and they just don't want to be there. That the producers are going to notice that, man, and that's not going to go well.
There's a big level of respect, isn't there, in what we do, and it's perhaps sort of a slightly sidestepped subject, but it's very much why Drew and I started this podcast, because we wanted to open up that understanding, appreciation, and respect for everyone that plays a part in our industry. We all love having the big chunky film roles or being the leading man on stage in theatre, but that's such a small part of what goes on. And appreciating and respecting and valuing every small job that goes in is step one to making sure that you really understand and know your industry. And then the next bit is to appreciate and let those people know, either by understanding what they're doing or giving them the time that they need to do what they're doing. All those things come together to create a better end product. As you were saying, Michael, it's a case of everyone's effort going in results in a better outcome if they're all playing the same sort of direction. Everyone's sort of working together rather than just turning up, doing their little bit, blinkered, and then buggering off. So
I tweeted about that the other day, that like a film production, it should move as one unit, where people, especially indie stuff, is like you need to do multiple jobs. There's so many jobs to do, and the whole thing should move as one unit. And people should be picking up slack wherever they see it, and just being unselfish like that. So, it's a team effort for sure. It's a team effort, man, big time.
So you've got the journey now has brought you to Lost Boys films. What have you got? You've got. I'm going to look at my list here. You mentioned Trophy Wife. As is that released, or is that coming out?
That's in post now. So
that's in post.
Yeah, we finished filming that a few months back. I've seen the first cut. Now the director sent me the second cut, so it's coming along really nicely. And that's a shout out to Eric Garson Films. He's the director, writer, and director of that. And he brought me on board as the lead in that film, and then also as one of the producers. So I'll set the stage for you guys, because I can't reveal too much about it, but I can give you a kind of a mystery kind of log line. It's basically my wife wakes up with amnesia, and I basically, as the husband, I tell her that the doctor said she's fallen over, she's hit her head, she has amnesia, and she's not allowed to leave the house for a few weeks while she, rediscovers her identity. And it kind of starts from there.
Wow. Okay.
And no more can you say. I love the sound of that. That's great.
Can't say anymore.
That's sort of intriguing opening, and then like right now you're hooked, in you come, sort of thing.
Yeah, that exactly. And shout out to Eric, because Eric is just an amazing filmmaker. He's a real visionary, and he really gets it. and he's great at working with actors. We've all been there with directors that are more, there's different types of directors, but there's directors that are not so good at like working with actors. And as you guys know, when you're a film actor or a TV actor, you don't really know what's going on. You don't know what's coming through the other side of the camera, and it's good to get reassurance. It's good to get real direction, and not just like go up a level or bring it down a level, but like real direction of like seduce her or intimidate them. That kind of direction is what I love. And Eric is so good at that because he really, really gets it. He really respects the actors, and he's not just kind of like stand there and do that. He really helps you understand it. And if you're not getting it, he will explain it in your terms. And he's a young director, but that guy's going to go far because he's really good at working with actors. And I learned from him like how to be a better director in terms of like working with performers, because he knew when to tell me to just like shut up and do it, but then he also knew when to say like give me a confidence boost or like just explain the scene to me. So Eric, shout out to Eric Garson at Eric Garson Films. He's a badass, man. So like I respect that guy a lot.
Boom.
Nice. So going from a film where post-production and you play the lead in to let's talk about Zero Protocol, because that's another one but that's at the other end of the spectrum at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, so Zero Protocol is like, the way I can describe that film is basically like Die Hard if it was set in the Blade Runner universe. So it's very cyberpunk, Yeah. With
That's just got to pull everyone in. I mean,
yeah.
That's everyone's favorite two films, I hope, because they're brilliant.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
what's your involvement on that one, Michael?
So I'm a performer in that one, and also one of the co-producers in that. I was in some of the fight sequences, and one of the co-producers helping like kind of manage the production. John Calloway is a guy, you should probably have him on your podcast. He's a stunt guy and an actor. He's an incredible stunt guy. He's like BSR guy. And he's been on some huge productions recently, which I can't say what they are, but they're massive, massive productions. His knowledge about fight sequences and stuff is really amazing. And and he's trained with like SAS and stuff. So his knowledge of like gun play is crazy. Like he's telling me some stuff that I didn't know myself. And so the action sequences and that are going to be outstanding. And the director, Elton Tan, is a young director, and he really gets it too in terms of like what is cool, like in terms of the sci-fi and action and bringing those two things together. And man, it's going to be that's going to be awesome. So we just finished shooting the first block of that, and then the next block will be shot in October.
Marvelous. Do you do any fight choreography yourself?
Yeah, in terms of choreographing things myself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So I do that. I've just literally yesterday finished a choreography or choreographing for a video game. Again, I'm sorry I can't say what it is because I signed the NDA. So, but yeah, it's it's an independent video game that got really big, and I'm choreographing one of the episodes for those guys. I also choreographed a film, which is probably my biggest film as action director, which is a film called The Gardener, which starring this martial arts legend called Gary Daniels. Gary Daniels worked on things like Expendables, City Hunter with Jackie Chan, like loads of the big action heads will know who he is. He's a good friend of mine. He was also like Kenshiro in the live action Fist of the North Star, which is like a crazy anime. And so, I worked with Gary on that one, and choreographed a lot of the fight sequences on that, directed the action and also edited the action. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've action directed, because that got bought by a subsidiary of Lionsgate Entertainment. So you can check that out on Amazon Prime. It's kind of a fun movie. Don't take it too serious, but the action is cool.
Incredible
stuff.
So what's next, hopefully, for Lost Boys? I mean, you've got so much going on, but are there things in the pipeline or certain things that you're aiming for at this stage?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got like some films that I'm producing right now. It's mainly the genres that I love. Genre movies. I love genre movies. So the genres that I really love is action, sci-fi, and horror. So I've got some horror stuff coming up that I'm producing, and some action stuff that I'm producing, and possibly a vampire movie. That's the one I'm most excited about. And I wrote those, and we're working on getting those done.
So you're writing as well?
Yeah, I write as well.
Yeah, leave something for the rest of us, mate. You know?
I'm a control freak, man. I like to do everything.
Brilliant stuff. Brilliant.
Fingers in
you work.
Every...
Sorry, Sam.
So I just said fingers in every pie, but that's from what you were saying with your personality and wanting to understand everything is the next step in being able to be involved in it. So
yeah, absolutely. Like my goal was always to be an actor, writer, producer, director. I remember the first time I went to Cannes Film Festival, I said that I was around a table of all these like filmmakers and executives, and someone asked me like, Michael, what do you do? And I said I'm an actor, writer, producer, director, and they all just looked at me like, what the fuck? And it was like you could hear a pin drop. There's just pulled all the air out of him. They were like, who the fuck is this guy? And what an idiot. And then a few years later, I went back and, the same people were kind of around the same table and they were like, what are you doing now? And I was like, oh yeah, just finished directing the Gardener. And they were like, oh wow. And they were really like, they were more impressed than the first time I spoke to them. But yeah, I would say to people out there, like who really want to do some of this stuff, is like, don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to them. Just go and do it. If you really want to do it, just go and do it and believe in yourself. I know that sounds cliched, but just go and do it. Literally, these days, it's easier than ever to go and make films. Like back in the day when Ridley Scott and that were doing it and they had to get actual film and these crazy expensive film cameras, it's really hard. Now, everybody has a 4K camera on their phone.
Yeah.
Get together with your friends, start filming stuff, start learning. There's loads of online courses. You can do short courses at London Film School. You can do so many different courses. You can just learn from YouTube how to be a filmmaker, literally. So if you really want to do it, stop talking about it and actually just go and do it. And get together with your friends and just start working on your craft. And if you focus on working on your craft and you really become indispensable to productions, you're going to keep working. So, yeah.
Conquer the fear, isn't it? Conquer the fear and just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just feel the fear and do it anyway. Just if you're a little bit nervous, that's a good place to be.
Well, fear's the fun part. I mean, I don't think any of us come into this business. I mean, yeah, we all love it, and in my case, I can't do anything else. But also, the fear is the exciting part. You think, well, if it's not, if there's not a little bit of risk, there's not really much point in doing it. It's like I have a friend who's a chef, and he said, I cook things, and I go, well, I wonder what that's going to taste like, and I'll throw an extra spice in, or I'll chop something else and throw it in there, and I'll taste it and go, I'm never going to cook that again, or this is my next signature dish, or whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't throw it in, you're only in this life once, and I'm not going to get philosophical, but I mean, fuck it, just do it. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, man. Just do it.
But, yeah. And the UK is a great place to do it, man, because the UK has so many great filmmakers, great filmmaking facilities, there's no need to go overseas. There's so much good stuff here. So, yeah.
I think there's also an element following on from the point of fear. I think nerves are a really valuable thing. Obviously, getting nervous to a point where you're anxious and you're unable to cope is not good. But I've always stood by the thought that if you get nervous about something, it means you care enough about the outcome. And if you're so blasé that you're just like, well, whatever, then maybe you don't care enough. So I think you need both sides. You need to have that buzz from doing something. You need to have that pleasure from doing something. But the fear or the nerves beforehand just heighten that end result, really. So
yeah.
It's been a hugely philosophical but also massively entertaining chat, and I'm sure we could go on for hours and hours, but I appreciate Michael, you've given up your time. I know you do have to run on fairly shortly, but we have a tradition here at Drewling Samantics, as I'm sure you're aware, and you're grinning, so that obviously means you are. We try our best when we can to end our guest features with a little bit of a story, an anecdote, or a funny quip, or something from their career, or something they can tell us that sort of either shocks our audience or will leave them laughing. Now, I have every faith that you've got a million stories, but can you narrow it down to one in particular for us that we can leave our audience with?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a recent one as well. So recently I was asked to come to this big screen fighting audition for this. It's a huge TV show. Again, sorry, I can't say what it is, but it's a Sky TV show, a huge thing. And I get to the audition and there's like, it's like 60 people there, massive stunt room, so there's like cars, there's like a big gymnastics floor and everything. And I know what the format's going to be. It's going to be like a big warm up, and then they're going to teach you a choreography, and then you're going to fight in front of everybody and show the director and show the stunt coordinator. So I get there and I see my buddy, Michael Hoad, who's this 6-foot guy from Paris, big guy, 100 kilos, and a 3rd degree Taekwondo black belt. Now, I've fought with Michael many, many times, and we have like the same kind of timing. So I was like, oh, thank God Mike's here. And then I walk up to Mike and I'm like, how you doing, buddy? He's like, yeah, good to see you. And then I noticed like he was a bit tired, and I was like, what have you been up to? And he said he just got off a plane and he had about 3 hours sleep. So I was like, okay, cool, see what happens. So we do the warm up, and the stunt coordinator is like taking us through this intense warm up, because the whole thing's an audition. It's a 4-hour audition. Right. And I look over at Mike and he is flagging. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. He looks like he's about to throw up. Anyway, we pair off, and I was like, go up to Mike, because I don't want to go. If you go with somebody you don't know, it could be a nightmare, because they might be terrible and it's going to make you look terrible. So I go with Mike, and then the guy comes around, one of the core stunt team comes around and shows us this basic choreography, because they want to see how good we are at doing basic choreography. Now, Mike is a wild man, and I love Mike. Shout out to Michael Hoad. And Mike goes, let's make it better. Let's make it better. Let's make the choreo better. And I'm like, man, I don't know, Mike. I don't think that's a good idea. Like, these stunt guys, they're not, let's just say they're not laid back. And Mike is like, no, we'll make it better. And instead of the last kick of the choreography being just a basic front kick, Mike wants to do this like spinning 360 hook kick, which he is amazing at. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he persuades me. I'm like, okay, then we'll do it. And then, they're like, okay, time up. Everybody get in a circle. So all these people in a circle. And Mike's like, yeah, we'll go first. I'm like, all right, cool. And we go up there, and the director's watching, the stunt coordinator's watching. And like, full speed. We do it really, really well. He does a spinning hook kick, and I fly across the room. Yeah. Everybody starts applauding. Oh, yes, we did it. And then the stunt coordinator goes, that was good, but I'm going to ask you to do it again. Can anybody tell me why? And then the guy that made the choreography put his hand up behind him and said, because they changed the fucking choreography. And I looked at Mike and I was like, you screwed us. And so, yeah, that was, we did it again, but I'm not sure if we're going to get called back for that show. So thanks, Mike. You fucked me over. So, yeah, man, that's don't change the choreography. Just do what they say and just do your best. But yeah, it was worth it just to tell the story. Like, I don't really care.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's an intriguing one, isn't it? Because we work in a world where all you want to do is impress people. Because at the end of the day, it is a big competition.
Yes.
Particularly acting roles, but for anything, you're always competing against other people who are very good at the same disciplines as you and want those roles, be it as a makeup artist or be it as a lighting rigger or an actor or whatever. It's such a wide thing. But there's sort of knowing when to step it up and when to go. No, I just need to do what I'm told. And
I knew it, man. I should have listened to my intuition and just persuaded him, but he's such a character, and I did think it would be cool, but yeah, it was a bad idea.
if anything today we can take away from meeting the wonderful Michael Hoad, it is Michael Hoad's lesson for life: don't change the choreography. Just stick to the choreo and get out of here and get the job.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Legend. Thank you, guys.
No,
honestly, it's been a real pleasure, Michael, and it's so great to meet you. So glad to have you here chatting away. Very, as Sam said, very inspired and very philosophical. Who said that actors can't think? We've just proved everyone wrong, and never change the choreography.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, it's a pleasure to see you. It's been far too long, and we'll have to get you out in that white linen suit again at some point.
I'm down, man.
It's gonna happen. But thank you so much for joining us today. We got there in the end. We've tried for a long time, and it was well worth the wait. And I'm sure everyone listening and watching will be extremely glad that you're able to join us. And one final thing. Drew, can I point out that all the best people have a plant in the back of their Zoom screen?
Yeah, I'm just, yeah.
And a samurai sword as well. There's a samurai sword there. Yeah, there you go.
Anyway,
I can't step it up to a samurai sword, but we've both got some greenery going on, and Drew has just got lots of scatter cushions. So
anyone not watching YouTube, I've got my scatter cushions. Michael has a plant. Sam has a plant. I'm feeling very, I just didn't get the memo, boys. What can I tell you?
But no, Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much. Man. Best of luck with all the movies that are coming up and everything that's going on with Lost Boys and everything else you're in at the moment. And we'll catch up again soon. We'll have to get you back on and tell some more stories.
Great stuff.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, man.
Cheers, man. Take it easy. See you.
Take care, Michael. Well, Sam, I know we say this and we say it every time, but I'm not going to say it this time. I'm going to just say, Michael Hoad, what a great guest. What
a great guy, a great guest, a great philosopher, and just fascinating to listen to, I think, more than anything else, mate, to hear all his stories and stuff. And
also, like a great many of our other guests we've had, are very self-effacing, very, I wonder whether that is the martial arts training, that you're a very contained, very, philosophical. I mean, I think when we had the lovely Hannah Bang Benz on as well, another, martial artist, genius, but very calm, very collected, and they know themselves really well. I wonder if that is part of the training.
Maybe, mate, we need to start beating each other up, and then we'll be more calm.
There's that thing, the Japanese used to do that in their workplace, didn't they? They used to take baseball bats to inflatable dummies with faces of their bosses on and get their aggression out. And then they were better. So I'll nip round to your place with a baseball bat, mate, and we'll just chill out.
Yeah. Next week on Drewling Samantics, we'll be broadcasting from the hospital,
from A&E.
Yes, but no, we've got a bit distracted. We should just reiterate. Thank you again, Mr. Michael Hoad. Fantastic guest. Brilliant to see him. Slightly disappointed he wasn't in his white linen suit, as I mentioned, but nonetheless, it was wonderful having him on. And great. Another big tick in the amazing guest list for season 9, mate.
That wonderful stuff. Well, and another big tick, mate. I mean, it's just us next week. Back to you and me. A lovely chat.
Yeah, and I won't be here. No, I will be here. I'm trying to work out, because obviously I'm off on tour. So I'm trying to work out at what point I leave and whether I will be in the wonderful studio with my sign or whether I might be somewhere a little familiar to a few people.
Oh, I'm saying nothing. Somewhere otherworldly?
Well, quite possibly. Me and a friend and our mutual friends, the Lion and the Witch. No, that really didn't work. It's
gone right cryptic now, Sam. You've gone cryptic, mate. Yeah. I think we need to,
Yeah.
I think we need to sup a beer, have a coffee, and chill out until next week.
But at some point in the future, I will be back a place that a few people might recognise or remember us talking about.
Absolutely.
But for now, let's just we shall raise a glass of something rather drinkable. Say thank you again, Mr. Michael Hoad. And
well done.
Thank you as always to lovely listeners and viewers. As Drew said, next week, just me and E. So we'll see you then.
It'll be a delight. See you then. Take care.
Ta-da. Thanks again for watching this episode of Drewling Samantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drewling Samantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.